Hi everybody, and I always start off by saying happy Tuesday or happy whatever day it is. I'm still going to maintain that because you know what, it's Tuesday, it's a beautiful day, and honestly, in the way that the world is today, life is short, life is precious. I'm going to carry on being grateful for every day and every moment. So to that end, I just thought it's been a while since I've come in and checked in on you guys. So first of all, how you doing? How's life treating you? Are we surviving? It's weird. I had my first court appearance in person. That was something. Okay, so it was a 2-day trial, and it was all conducted in person. So apart from the social distancing measures, you know, it kind of went all right. You know, it was all right. Here's the thing though, if any of you are watching this right now, you will know that we are, although lockdown is starting to ease gradually, a lot of people are getting fed up with lockdown and there are issues. And here's the thing, right? The issues that were there beforehand, people weren't really talking about them so much. And as time has gone on, people have realised that they can't take a lot more. Now this might, in all honesty, impact on day-to-day things. Like seeing your children, contact finance, maybe you've got a hearing already in place, maybe that your hearing has been postponed, maybe it's been adjourned. If that's any of you right now, you're in the right place. Like I said, hearings, and I've said this before and even more so now, here's the thing that I've noticed more so over the last couple of weeks. The courts are really now having to look at this for the long haul. The idea now of remote virtual hearings is really becoming a thing. And I don't know, I can see both sides of this fence, like from the court's perspective, and I've talked to quite a few family court professionals, people who are working actually in the courts. And one of the things that they're saying is that they want to go back to how it was before the lockdown. And part of the reason why they're saying that was because the idea of family law needs to be really seen in person. A lot of decisions are made, honestly, by somebody's demeanour, which you lose over a phone. I get that. And I'm not sure that having something like Zoom is all that much better, actually, because, you know, listen, you guys only see me from this up, you know. I'm not sure you can always tell somebody's demeanour. Anyway, you certainly can't tell anybody's demeanour by phone, and most of the court hearings are now taking place by phone. On the plus side, anybody that's been through family court knows that there's a whole bunch of waiting around, which at the moment just doesn't happen. Yay that because honestly, like, if you've been that person that has been sitting in the consultation room, or some courts haven't even got consultation rooms, or some courts have very, very few consultation rooms, and you're sat behind one pillar and your ex is sat behind the other pillar. I know, I get it. So the one thing from my point and from your point of view, the lovely thing about having virtual hearings has been taking away that waiting, like the hours. I cannot underestimate the hours of waiting that has taken place. It's been hours. That doesn't happen at all, and that is really lovely, because there is nothing worse than if you're nervous and you're sitting in a consultation room, the anticipation. You know as well as I do that they say 10 o'clock, I know if you get there before midday, you're doing well. That's not happening at the moment. And I think that from a lot of people's perspective, that takes the anxiety from fifth gear down to first gear. And of course, the hearings are now at the moment, because the nature of them being virtual, they're being conducted in your home. Now, for a lot of people, that's been a big, big bonus. I was in court yesterday with somebody, and, you know, typical thing, a shirt and tie from this way up, only for my benefit, because, like, you know, the hearing was on a telephone, and yeah, gym jams from the waist down all the way. I think people are finding it, generally speaking, a lot more comfortable, a lot easier, because there's not the waiting around, because there's not the logistical ness of going physically to a court building. It means that there's a lot less messing around, which means that court hearings can honestly be listed in far quicker. Now, one of my biggest bugbears, and probably one of your biggest bugbears as well, has been the length of time that a court case will take from beginning to end. Now, I'm always really blasé, and people sort of look at me going, oh my God, I had to wait like 3 months for another court hearing. Like, what's that all about? And here's the thing, like, pre-lockdown, that was like lightning speed, because before the global pandemic, before there was a change in regulations for the courts, before, cases would go on for years, like years. I've had people who have been with me for absolute years. Now that's not so much the case. Now a court hearing will be between 12 months, 18 months, and that's it. That's it. One of the beauties that I've personally found, and I'd be really interested to hear your comments down below. I'd be really interested to see, what do you think? From my point of view, and what I'm gleaning now from a lot of my clients and from a lot of people I'm assisting and from people here, is that they like not having to wait. They're not waiting. Now, there's always going to be a downside, okay? And let's just talk about those downsides, because the downsides is that a lot of what needs to happen in family law needs to happen in person. CAFCAS reports, social services, monitoring, contact centres, all of that stuff. That needs to happen in person, and that can't happen in person. So there is a downside, and the downside is that maybe you're not going to get the result that you want, because there's been that gap. Maybe you're in that position where you've not seen your children, and one parent has cited COVID. Or maybe you're in that position where you've had to have supervised contact, the court's dictated, or you've agreed, or there's been an agreement that there should be supervised contact or contact in a contact centre, and that simply can't happen now, simply because they're shut and no prospect of them opening anytime soon. So if you're in that position, or if you've had a huge delay in not seeing your children, and it's gone from you used to have quite regular contact to virtually none, and you're trying to restart that, I get that. Are you part of that party where you've just thought, I can't get to see my children? Or how about if you're watching this and you're a parent who has had social services, local authority involvement? Has that come to a standstill? Fun fact, you would think, and this has always been my bugbear, OG subscribers will know this of me, but you'd think that it would be useful to have a unified way of doing things across the country, right? Like, who wouldn't want that? No, not happening. So one of the downsides that I'm finding is that across the country, there is no uniform way of approaching this. Some courts still are adjourning everything en masse, everything they possibly can. Other courts are being super helpful and really embracing the technology, and by technology I mean BT conference, but really embracing the idea of having a virtual hearing. That's not the same, though, that doesn't get cascaded down, and I can see why that doesn't get cascaded down, and it doesn't really translate to professionals like CAFCAS, like social services, local authority, because a lot of what they need to do is kind of like the nuts and bolts of it. The courts are led by the professionals, but if the professionals can't really get to do their job, it becomes a sticky wicket. Now, reports are being done. CAFCAS and Section 7 reports, if you know, are being done. They really are. It's tricky. It's really tricky. As much as we can try and keep safe, and as much as you're trying to keep social distancing, one of the major downsides is that kids are missing out. And I've always maintained it's the children right now that are missing out. Cases aren't progressing forward, and I've always been, as far as it's safe to do so, okay, I just want to caveat that, I'm a massive advocate of shared parenting. Both parents, a child needs both parents, and at the moment that's being stinted because COVID, because the courts have been struggling anyway to embrace that technology. Now, there was a report out not so long ago that they said that this has been the new way of working. I'm not so sure. Most of the court professionals that I've spoken to want to go back to the way things were. But I'm not sure, honestly, how realistic that's going to be. One thing we do know for certain is that the social distancing, all of it, this is going to be the new for quite some time now. And when this first kicked off, you all know, because I'm on here every goddamn time, sort of making sure that I'm up to date, you're up to date, and we're all in this together. But things have settled down now, and a kind of new normal in the courts has taken over, you know. And so we're seeing much more virtual hearings, which has got its obvious advantages, you know. It's so nice. I mean, especially if you're one of those parents that are living far away from your children, or far away from the court in question, and you've always had to travel and it's been a bit of a trek. That's not been happening so much, you know, so things are happening. The other thing that's been really good is, and it's been a drum that I banged for like ages, is that the courts are now starting to take service of documents electronically. I know, right? I mean, all the times that you've said to me, why can't they, like, you know, do court hearings? Why can't I send my bundle electronically? Well, now you can. Okay, position statements, documents, as long as you're following the rules and regulations. I mean, listen, nobody wants a ton of stuff being sent to them. I've always maintained that if it's not going to get read, what's the point in sending it? Okay, so with that in mind, but things like a position statement, things like your bundle can now be emailed to the documents, to the courts. So there are pros and cons on both sides of this fence, and I'd be interested to hear about your experiences. I'd be interested to hear what you think. For you, have you experienced positives from having a virtual hearing? Have you been frustrated at the courts because they've not heard your case in time? To that end, certainly just to give you a little update about what Family Law Assistance is doing. So obviously we're always run off our feet. I mean, like, you know, hello. We've been around for so bloody long. I think I said last week that we were probably celebrating our 12th anniversary. It's ridiculous how long we've been around at the moment. So to that end, one of the things that we have been doing is we have been doing an Ask Us Anything for family law. And that Ask Us Anything has been great. We used to do this just on Facebook, by the way, but obviously with the dawn of COVID, we took the opportunity just to kind of get to know you guys, and for you to have that conversation directly with us. So we would there's been no set date, honestly, because of COVID, because of courts. But what we'd like to do, what we're trying to do, is to get that sort of semi-regular, where we can do an Ask Us Anything more regularly, and they get sold out. You know, I'm always really impressed, and I'm always so underprepared. I'm like, you know what, maybe 3 or 4 turn up, and then we'll get like 20 odd or 30 odd, you know. So note to self, better planning. But we are going to carry on doing that, because I know that you guys find that super useful. I've said this before, but we're also bringing out other things to help litigants and persons, okay? Things that are going to help you in court. So one of the things that I'm thinking of doing is to do some kind of masterclasses, and for like a few quid, you're going to have the opportunity to jump on and really learn, especially if you're the person that just wants to do it on their own. If you're in that position where you can't either afford to hire help, or you just want to do it on your own because god damn it, you can do it better. We've got you covered. Well, we will have you covered. There's a lot of things at the moment that's going on in the background. Those that know. So apart from, we're gonna be launching some masterclasses, and we're also going to be continuing the training. So if I'm going to just say a little couple of words now about the training, because I haven't as yet really shoot and hollered, because there is a lot of exciting things that are going on at the moment which I can't talk about. I'm not allowed. It's more than my life's worth. It's above my pay grade. Okay, I can't talk about it. But what I can talk about is that Family Law Assistance is moving on to its next level now. And part of that next level is, if you are the person, or you're sitting there thinking, shit, I'm being furloughed, or shit, what does the future look like? Or maybe you're just in that job that you've bloody hated for years, and you think you want to do something more meaningful with your life. Well, you could do a lot worse than perhaps become a family law assistant, and train and learn to do what we do. I those of you that know, and listen, people I've already trained will tell you this, okay? But we will. I'm always super picky with who I pick to train. So if you're thinking about doing some training and you want to make a difference in the family court and do what I do what Stephen does, then get in touch with me, okay? It's certainly a ride of a lifetime. You will have our support. The one thing that I've always maintained is that our tribe here is a tribe, and whether it's people that you guys that are just watching this and have done for years, because I mean, some of you out there are like OG subscribers, you know, or you're just sitting there thinking, you know what, the world has pressed pause. I could be doing something a lot better with my life, something that has meaning, and it's something that will dramatically help and change people's lives. So let's be honest, you know, when we're in court and we're talking about your children, it's life-changing stuff, and it's my why. It's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons that I do what I do. I was always super reluctant to do it in the beginning, mainly because I didn't want to train a bunch of angry people and send them off to court on the back of my name, quite honestly. But I realised that actually there is strength in numbers, and we are much better together. And having that core, that group that got your back. And listen, I remember when I first started out, there was not a heck of a lot of support with me in court, and there wasn't a heck of a lot of females doing what I did. So I learned the hard way, so that you guys don't have to. So if this is what you're thinking about and you're just sitting there umming and ahhing and thinking, you know what, I could be doing something a lot better with my life right now. This is life-changing stuff, make no mistake about that. And I think that it's because it's life-changing stuff, probably it's part of the reason why I'm super picky about who I pick to train. But if that is you and if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I think I'd like to do that, then get in touch with me, okay, and we'll talk. Anyway, I've rambled off for long enough. I've got to go to a meeting. But guys, seriously, let me know in the comments below. As always, I'll keep you posted, and have a great day.